Okay, there's one area that since 2015, I would have thought that someone else would have also kind of implemented this properly within digital modeling. Typically, these things, they seem to reach kind of this point of parity. This is one area where the Helix really still sort of stands alone. Fractal stuff can do it, but it's kind of not implemented in a way that is as easy to use as this. I'll show you what we're doing, but basically the fractal stuff is really difficult to kind of get it in tune because it's all sort of hertz based rather than note based. So what we're looking at is this pads thing on the Helix, and if you want to check this out, I've got a pads folder which essentially is designed for the Helix, and the idea is really that you can play in pretty much any key. So I've got my own sort of pad specific set list, and you can see I've got loads of different keys basically. So what these presets actually do is This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Basically, if you run in snaps and stomp mode, which you get here, so if we go into global settings, then foot switches, preset mode, stomp snap, 10 switches, then you'll get this same view that I do, and here's chord 1 in C major, chord 2 in C major, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, chord 6, and then for chord 7 I have chord 5 in first inversion. And then 8 is just the pad turned off. So how does this actually work? So it's actually a ton of work to get it working, but we're looking at the Pitch Synth 3-note generator, and essentially what I've done is you've got 3 notes, as the name would imply, and then I just program each snapshot. Yeah, so you've got 3 notes. So my first note is the root note, and that changes with each foot switch. So we go from C to D to F, G, A, B, and then C again. So you've got octave control as well as note control. Now this is the part which is so much simpler than Fractal, because Fractal, these note names aren't there, and that makes it really difficult. So page 2, we get the second oscillator. So I'm using Saw, by the way, for this, not the film, but the whatchamacallit. So you change note 2, and then here the switch is breaking. Oscillator 3 is doing different notes, so you need to kind of know a little bit of music theory. For me, I'm using a constant of D on so 9, so they're like a sus9 chord, and that D stays throughout just to give it a little bit of a more ambiguous flavour. Could of course change that to chord. And they're slightly panned. Okay, you can set glide between them as well. It's really, really, really powerful block. Won't make you work. You've got attack, decay, dry level as well, and an actual level. And then the other thing I do is put it through an EQ. So we've got a high cut all the way down to 1.3. Just to give it that sense, and then it goes into a glitch delay, which just to show you the concept. It's one sort of underexplored element of the Helix world that I think is worth checking out. If you want to check it out, I've done a few for HX Stomp as well, but these are really 8 snapshot kind of presets that work best with the full Helix. But you can do some stuff with the Stomp as well, so if you're interested, there's a Gumroad folder called Pads, essentially, where you can check this sort of stuff out. And I think it's this underexplored element that really only the Helix kind of does as efficiently and as sort of musically as this. As I say, the Fractal world can do a bit of it, but it's kind of hertz based, which is really much more difficult to program. The Quad Cortex, there is a bug essentially in the filter block where you can sort of tune feedback, and that's how they built a preset around it. But again, it's kind of hertz based and nowhere near as predictable or programmable as this. So it'd be interesting to see if some other modelers will figure this out at some point. I'd like to see kind of more advanced synth blocks within the modeling world, because I think this is an underexplored area, like polyphonic synths, which Boss have started doing, and also Eventide do this a bit, and Strymon have done it with the Cloudburst, but polyphonic synth tones that could work to kind of get more out of modelling than just kind of guitar-based sounds. I think it'd be interesting, but for now, it's kind of the Helix. So jump into the Gumroad folder and check out the Pads preset. Really amazing, kind of inspiring stuff for practicing along to. It's basically per snapshot changing the chord, and I think it makes sense to do this in major contexts like this. Give it a try. Catch you in another video soon. Cheers for stopping by.